Alright, fuck it, man. I can't do this to myself. I'm back. If you didn't see, I was about to literally give up on this whole channel and basically, like, you know, delete the videos forever and disassociate with cannabis at all whatsoever. And my reasoning is because I'm getting into aviation, I'm becoming a pilot, blah blah blah. I do think there is the future in that, and I want to get into the future of transportation, and it's fun to do some shit like that. And in another way, it's actually really sad, and still some backwards thinking that cannabis could be seen as a negative or, you know, like not let you get into a career. And so I got a comment from someone that said, it's kind of silly to let other people's opinions dictate your own actions and what you do. And actually, I do agree with that. I mean, why do we appreciate art? Why do I love movies? Why do I love artists and musicians? Because they stay true and authentic to themselves, and they don't try to fit into a mold. That's what really stands out, and that's what we really resonate with. So this really fucking me up, like trying to figure out my path in life, because I had reached a point where I'd been doing this so long, and this channel has been revolving around cannabis and smoking weed, that I had kind of developed into a character, or I felt like whatever I do should revolve around weed because that's what this channel is about. So to do this channel and to make videos, I have to, only do things that are related with weed. So I finally got to a point where I had made like a caricature of myself, and so I no longer even felt like I know who I am. But at the same time, now that I break away from it, I moved to China. There's no weed for like 2 years. I'm all professional. All I do is business, 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 run around and take meetings and am clean cut and have a clean image of myself. Well, now I arrive full circle on the other side of things, of not knowing who I am. Because let me tell you something, when I'm fully professional right now, this is what I actually wanted to be while I was a stoner. So while I was a stoner and I didn't give any fucks and I was just enjoying life and, chilling out on the couch and, getting blazed all day and everything, what I actually wanted on the inside and what I had strived for was to become productive and to become a whatever the fuck business person that gets shit done and blah blah blah. So now I embody that, and now I'm just thinking the reverse, entire opposite, that now I am all professional and productive and shit. Not even that productive, but I have the image of it. Now I'm just concerned and torn up inside that I am not creating art, and it really fucks me up. And that's why I really cannot let go of this channel. And that is something that I had not always embodied well enough, or I hadn't lived up to my own expectation of doing things purely for the art. If I ever failed at one thing, that's what it is. I don't feel like I ever failed at, putting in effort to good edits or good visuals or whatever. It's like the purity of the art and the intention of where it comes from is like the important thing. So that's getting a little abstract, but I do have my shit together much more here, and I had like forced myself into this environment, and in a way I'm very isolated because again I live in fucking China, So I'm like 7,000, 8,000 miles away from anyone I had ever known or grew up with, or really like any stoners. But, I'm kind of like in between. It's like I don't feel like I am a stoner anymore. And so now when I do get baked, it's almost like I have like a panic attack because it's bringing me back into that place of being stoned, which previously I was a completely different person in that situation. But now I'm not that person anymore. But if I get stoned, I'm not my current person anymore either. And so this is what Carl Jung describes as the shadow. So right now, the shadow side of myself is one that just wants to create art, that is looking for the purity of life, that wants, the connection to life and enjoyment and actually, all that good stuff. So that is actually the shadow side of myself now, because what I am outwardly portraying as my persona is the businessman, the, busy, busybody, professional, clean-cut individual. And so now my shadow side is one that just wants to create art and to enjoy the beauty of life. But on the flip side, when I was actually doing that and when I was actually about the art and, more carefree, then the shadow side that wanted to come out and the side that I was not acknowledging and not integrating was this business side of myself. And I am interested in, seeing new technologies, in innovation. And so that is something that is really cool that I'm able to dive into here in China. But the important thing in life is the integration of the two. So I don't think I can let go of Stone alone, especially because I've been doing this for 10 years. I just hate to accept defeat. And in many ways, I do feel like I had hit defeat because, this channel didn't get big, and that was due to my inconsistency. And my inconsistency was due to a perfectionism, and my perfectionism was from a desire to create pure art. So it's funny that my worst enemy is myself, right? The only person that has ever limited me from my potential is myself. I've always had the opportunity to do the things that I want and to create the art, but the only thing standing in my own way was myself. And so I think that is one of the toughest things in life. And even as I create this video, I feel like I shouldn't even put it out unless I have a story arc and have a story wheel. 8 parts. It starts with the comfort zone, which is an identity crisis from not feeling the alignment with the character and persona of the stoner. And, I was getting in a very messy situation. Like when I was in El Paso, my crib was a fucking mess. It was like a bachelor pad. It's really fun to look back on, and it actually is like fond memories. So I am very glad that I got out of that. My desire was to become a professional, and I was before I started smoking weed. And so this is something I want to acknowledge as well. Cannabis was absolutely one of the best things in my entire life and changed me for the better, absolutely. But on the flip side, it is also something that I had laid on as a crutch, and I had let it put me in such a comfort zone that I'd wasted much of my life away and had dug into bad habits and made me so comfortable that I did not move forward with actually acknowledging the issues in my life and actually worked on myself. So that's where it comes to the adapt. The adapt was I came to Asia. I am in this environment of nothing but business. There's like no fun. There is material good though. I mean, you know, eating fucking amazing every day. I've eaten so fantastically for the past 2 years. It is just unbelievable. And hitting the spa, hitting the sauna. But other than that, there's no like fun and that purity of life and you know, whatever. So adapt, and then I you know, got what I wanted. Now I'm all professional. Now I look all fucking, you know, presentable and stuff. And I paid the price because now I have no art in my life. I have no excitement, blah, blah, blah. And so now we return back to the identity crisis on the other side. So that is the story wheel, you know, that is how it goes. So I think I can even leave this video uncut. But my point is, my perfectionism makes me not even want to make this video unless I have this perfect story arc and I put in amazing visuals and amazing edits and everything. But that exactly is the enemy of why I have not posted for like 5 fucking years, because I'm over perfecting everything in my head so much that I don't even want to put the video out unless I make it all perfect. And because of that ridiculous overanalyzing in my head is what led me to not posting. And because I didn't post, that's why the channel has no fucking, you know, views or has not had much growth. At the same time, I do think it's actually shadow banned. I think having the cannabis content on here makes the channel not recommended. I think it's actually very difficult to come across the channel. So these are all legitimate concerns I've had, and like I've wondered if I should just delete everything off the channel and then start fresh, and then, you know. So, hey, come on, you want to be in here? So I am completely tortured by this shit, but I think I just have to, you know, keep going at it. I know, that's how I feel. I know. So, thank you for watching. I can't give up on Stoned Alone. I was about to end all this shit. Not like, you know, not like, you know, end all this shit. I was gonna end the brand of Stoned Alone, and I was actually gonna go faceless. Like, I was gonna, you know, continue doing it, but then make it like a secret, like who is the... That's overcomplicating everything. And kind of detracting from the whole point of making and creating videos in the first place is to be authentic and to have this expression. Because this truly is all that I have in this life. You know, I want to get into some crazy technologies, you know, I want to get into entrepreneurial shit and, you know, like make money and bring new technology into the world and bring new products. And that's something that China has shown me, is how possible that is. And that is blowing my mind just as much as creating videos did when I was younger. It's amazing that you can take ideas and bring something into the world. But I will not feel fulfilled unless I create. And it really pisses me off and really just makes me so empty inside if I do not create, and if I do not create from a genuine place. Because, you know, I create plenty for work as well, because I'm good at it, and you should get paid for what you are good at. So I, you know, make commercials and I make content for other brands, and that's to bring the income in. But the only reason I ever wanted income in the first place was so that I could support myself creating the things that I want to. So it's funny, you know, how far we can stray, and how I had gotten in the way of myself so many times before, where I had the opportunity right in front of me to create what I wanted to, but I, for reasons made up in my own head, would get distracted and end up detracting from the vision. So the vision for me was always make movies. But this is the movie. You know, I had always been concerned about this. Since I was a kid, I always felt like, I don't even feel like I want to make something like The Godfather. Directing a bunch of actors, and you got like a million people running around, and, it just seems like a lot of work. But I want to make movies. And so I feel like that is life itself. Life is the movie. This is the doubts. Oh, what is going to bring my fulfillment in life? This is the triumphs. Oh, now I'm over dramatizing things. But that's what I find so interesting about movies and why I'm obsessed with them. Because in many ways, movies are even more honest than real life. Because when I have deep struggles, I don't even know if I can articulate them. And I don't articulate them to other people because people don't want to hear your problems. And it comes off as complaining. But when you watch a movie, you can really see people struggling with their morality, where they're getting their fulfillment from, what makes them happy, regrets. All of these things I think is so wonderful about art and movies, because you can see shit that you might not even see in people that you're very close to, even people that you grew up with, or people that are around you all the time. You may not even see them struggling with their internal dilemmas and their humanity of what they're going through, because it's just difficult to, portray out loud. And I'd always found it easier to say all of this to a camera and to strangers on the internet than anyone in real life. I mean, I don't know anyone in real life that I actually would pour my heart out to or say any of this stuff. And so that's why I have this. And this is what has kept me sane, and this has been the most fulfilling thing in my entire life, and this has been really the only thing that my life has been for and has contributed to. Of course, I believe in family, and for many people that is like the whole thing. But for me, like literally stoned alone, and cannabis, and mulling over the cosmic wonder and horror of it all, this has really been all that my life has boiled down to. So, you have been watching Stoned Alone. I can't give this shit up. And this is the movie of real life. Again, I do want to make movies. But even if I write a script and then now I gotta, raise a bunch of money, and now I gotta pay like a whole staff of people, and you got a bunch of people. Really, all that is trying to get to is the emotion of real life. And that emotion of real life is happening before us every single second. And so when I say that I do not feel the art while living in China, I feel like I am kind of trapped in this vision of my own, which is a corporate and futuristic technological environment. I want to find the art within that. I don't even necessarily have to be around other artsy people. I just have to make art myself. And I'm happy to be in this kind of environment, and it's cool to see how things are made. And so I will continue to be out here on my businessy, shit. I'll be doing my pilot journey, flying and getting into aviation technology, and bringing products into the world, and helping Davis do that as well, and help other people bring visions into material reality, but the only thing that is ever going to fulfill me is to actually create. And the pain of not doing that, and the absolute emptiness within my heart from not doing that, has led me to this very moment where I just have to fucking do this, or else there's no other point to it all. So, thank you for watching. This is Stoned Alone. I hope it's fucking recording. You know how crazy it'd be if it stopped recording? God, I'd done that so many times. If you remember old Stoned Alone, I should, like, you know, put stuff back up public and shit again. There's so many times where I'd talk for hours and hours, and I would find out that the camera's not fucking recording. Let me see. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I was actually worried there for a second. Because sometimes then you gotta redo the whole thing. But, like, you know, how do you recreate the whole fucking thing? You gotta, like, do it again, but, like, you know. And then you say something different, too, but... Jesus fucking Christ. So, and that is me. And this is this. And you are you. And we're gonna make it through. Because... you know, we gotta do what we gotta do to eat. We gotta do what we gotta do to make it through the day and to make it through another. But at the end of the day, you know, the question still remains, what is the point to it all? And then the answer remains that you must find it yourself and create it yourself. And for me, I had found the answer before, but then it's almost like I'm hiding from my own answer of how I can, you know, even accept life without going crazy. Yep. What do you think? Do you agree? Yeah, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good rant there. Shit, I still got it. Man. And, I mean, I could keep going. You know I could keep going for fucking hours. But I think that's the majority of what I had to say. And, you know, I would say that, like, I gotta keep doing this, whatever, for the viewers and stuff, and I'm sure there'll be some people that are happy to see this, but really, like, I gotta do this for myself, too. Like, literally, this is the only thing left. This is the only thing that is bringing me sanity in this moment, and I'm glad that I'm doing this, because this provides a meaning and a purpose, and that's something that I will never shut up about, is meaning and purpose. And, you know, I do want to cover the cannabis stuff a lot. Like, there was someone that commented to me, they said, you know, it's fine to move on from cannabis, but don't become one of those people that get preachy about it. It is hard not to. And this is something, you know, we don't have to leave all of this for this one video. But that's, again, with integrating the shadow side. When I was consuming a lot of cannabis, like, I probably could have moderated it and become a lot healthier about it. But then when I stop, you know, it's hard not to become preachy and stuff about it. But there is the middle ground. There is a middle ground where, you know, that's like the move. And something that I do admire about stoners is that, you know, I'm talking about all this stuff, right? I think it comes down to philosophy. And philosophy goes hand in hand with spirituality. And so for me, I arrive at the conclusion of a lot of Buddhist, you know, thought processes. And what's funny about a lot of stoners is I feel like they are almost embodying a Zen, because the problem with life is having too much attachment or desire, and attachment to the desire. And so when someone is literally a couch potato and they don't need anything else to be happy, and they're just chilling and they don't even like need anything else to be happy. That almost is reaching in enlightenment. And because in our society, we are always looking for more productivity and getting more things done, which really is, just benefiting. It's like a pyramid scheme that goes up. Like when someone actually doesn't feel any need to do anything else for their fulfillment and they feel completely happy and content with just sitting there doing nothing, that literally is like a meditative state. So I find that hilarious because, I very much run myself into the desire and the rat race of things. And it's one thing if you could actually reach it, right? It's one thing if, you grind and then it actually pays off. But for me, it really just drives me crazy because the more I try to be productive, the more I beat myself up over it. And the more I'm like angry at myself for not getting things done. And it's a vicious cycle because I'm mad at myself for not getting things done. And then it's like, okay, well, I just gotta do more things then. And then it's like this clenching of fists. And my mother was like this too. My mom was just always just like white knuckling her life. Like she never had like a relax. Like she was always just like, oh, gotta grind and just like. So, where does that lead us? I probably should have just ended when I had the chance. Like I had a really good ending already at the like 28-minute mark. But I probably will have ended there. It's just gonna be ramblings from here. But that's what I'm talking about, baby. I mean, this is not even the first time I've done this. Over the past few years, there's many times where I talk to the camera for an hour straight, and then I would decide, oh, it's too personal. Or like, it's usually just at the end. Usually I'm like, oh, I'm like okay with sharing all of this, but then I don't want it to be like boring for the viewer, or I don't want it to be like too weird, like oversharing. But personally, I'm not worried, I guess, too much about airing it all out because, this is life. I don't think it's abnormal to be like dealing with shit in life. I'm pretty sure that's like literally the human experience. And that's what I mean by trying to capture the movie of life. Because as an aspiring filmmaker, I do think of life in 3 acts, in story arcs, in cinematography and editing. But just this uncut video from a fucking iPhone, I think can contain a lot more life than if I were to sit down and try to like write a story and like, make people act it out. But again, that's why many films are masterpieces, because they are able to bring a written script and people acting, and they are able to bring the emotion and the humanity and the condition of life into a screen within 90 to 140 minutes. So I do really fucking love filmmaking, man. And so that brings me to, I wish I had more money so I could make films. Well, if I want more money, then I gotta grind. And I start grinding, and then now I'm in a fucking rat race. Now I'm not making art, because now I'm trying to make money. And it's not even coming in, because I'm not that good at it. I'm not that good at being productive, because I can, will myself to do it. All right, Tim, fucking do it. Like, I could like drill sergeant myself. But then I get started, and I'm like, I'm not really interested in this. And so I'm pretty sure most people are in this kind of situation in life. I'm pretty sure most people are working a job and they're not like stoked about it, but for one reason or another, they end up in this situation. But overall, I do like what I do. I'm in a position where, I'm even for work and even when making income and stuff, I overall enjoy what I do. But I could be doing more of this. I could be doing more art And if I literally just capture what I am doing and like vlog it and stuff, I do think there's some interesting stuff in it. So, we are the character of the sum of all of our decisions, and that is what creates the character of ourself that we play. Oh man, I should read up more on this Carl Jung stuff because I really think that's like there's a lot to unpack there. That's really the stuff of life, is the persona. And this really struggles with me. Like, while I am in China, the persona is, presentable and, well behaved and stuff. But then I know inside I got this, free spirited, all that shit. And that is the persona of life. There is the face that we present to the world, and then there is more behind that. And it's all about how does it all come together? Because it's not just what you hide or what you don't reveal to other people. It's what you do not acknowledge and what you do not reveal to yourself. And that comes off in projection. They say that when you look at an enemy or when you describe an enemy, you're really describing yourself. And that self is the shadow. It's all about the integrating of the shadow. All right, that's all I got for now. We should dig more deep into that, but I'm not well read on the subject. That's pretty much the extent of my knowledge. But that is a trip in life, man. Like, when you start realizing that you do have something within yourself that you're not revealing or that you're repressing, this is what can really mess up your life and mess up your quality of life. And that is a good place to leave off on. Ooh, man, I'm happy to be back. Stone Alone, this is what I'm talking about, man. It's the real shit, man. The reason why Stone Alone is great isn't that it has to have a lot of views or that it's popular. It's this is just from my heart. This is what I got. This is what I'm doing with my life. This is what I have done with my life. And if it wasn't for this, then I would not feel nearly as fulfilled. So, I think y'all just as much, not to get cheesy, thanking the audience and stuff, but really it is quite wonderful that I've had such strong support. And again, it's it's easy to look at the numbers, I could feel there's not many subscribers on here or whatever, but just the immense amount of support and the depth of that support is so crazy. I feel like the people that have resonated with the channel, it's on a deep level, and I personally am fine with just providing entertainment. I'm happy with just doing entertainment or making, cool stuff to watch, but there's something a little more deep to that because, I think there's a lot of people that have deeply resonated with the content, and that in turn gives me a purpose. And so when I've strayed away from that because it's I'm trying to logically or rationally or strategically do things in life, such as whatever, it's just that when it comes down to it, this is fulfilling, and I need that, and I think we all need to feel fulfilled. It's one thing being happy, but happiness is fleeting. It's not about necessarily feeling happy at the moment. I wouldn't say I feel super happy right now, but I feel fulfilled. I feel fulfilled right now, and I feel content. So again, I don't feel like super happy, like whoa. I don't know, like I do want to make like a parody of happiness, but you know, it's feeling content is more important than feeling happy, because emotions are fleeting, and you know, it's also part of the whole attachment thing. You know, it's not about just like being too attached to that feeling, because then all right, I'm kind of running out of substance here. I do gotta cut it, because like I would be glad to keep talking, but I'm like out of substance. I'm gonna go do some studying. You know, I never fucking did studying in my life. Another thing that's fulfilling, because challenges are fulfilling. But then, how do you do a challenge without a worthy cause? Now I'm just going overboard. But I said what I said. That's all I gotta say. You know what I'm saying? Um, life's gonna be all right.